Good morning. Today we're at the home of Lee Schalon in Waterford, and we're looking at his SN3 railroad that he's been working on for some years. It's pretty well done now, but Lee, I'd like you to go over some of the rationale behind why you picked this kind of layout and what the basis for the location is.
All right, and it's HON3, and basically I fell in love with Colorado 20, 30 years ago, and we ended up having a second home there for many years. We skied a lot, and we were out there many years, and about 10 years ago, I decided I fell infatuated with the narrow gauge railroads in Colorado that served the mining areas back in the last century. And I decided I needed to recreate that, so that's what I did. I had always been interested in flying my whole life, not trains. I remember standing on top of garages and with model airplanes and putting firecrackers in them and throwing them off the garage and blowing them up, and that was my extent of modeling to that time. But then I started this about 10 years ago, and I've gradually worked on it as time passed and bad weather and whatnot when I didn't play golf. Keep me busy, and I finished it about a year ago, basically, and it's a somewhat working model at this time.
Thank you, Lee. I know this represents the Colorado area, but what specific town or area does it really represent?
Yes, the basically two areas here. This is the city. This represents the city of Gunnison, Colorado, and this first block is pretty much representative of what it looks like right now. And then 30 miles up the valley, which is behind me this way and around this way, is the city of Crested Butte, Colorado. And this represents almost exactly the area as it is right now. They don't allow you to change the structures. You have to keep the structures as there are. This is the mountain of Crested Butte. It's a ski area now. Back in the time period that this represents, 1910, 1929, this was a huge silver, gold mining, coal mining area.
Lee, I know you love all of the Colorado area. Do you have any specific part of this layout that you or your grandchildren are more favorable towards?
Yeah, I just love this area is high altitude, mountainous, and that's the reason the narrow gauge railroads were built. They're narrower than normal railroads, and they had to be that to get it go through these mountain passes. There's back this way. We'll eventually look over that way. There's the highest tunnel in railroad tunnel in North America, and it's still, you can hike up to it now, and you can hike through all this area and see what was here. It's too bad they ripped up these rails in 1953. It would have been tremendous to still have it to land here, and the airport is right here where a coal area is and a yard is. Now there's an airport there. You could have landed there, got on the narrow gauge railroad, and come up to ski in Crested Butte. It would have been great to still do that. But
Lee, the control system is sometimes the heart of the railroad, and can you tell us a little about how you control the trains?
Well, it's a DCC system, which means basically you can control all these. I have 6 different locomotives. You can control them all from this one handheld loco here, and it's each railroad, each engine has its own digital ID, and you can contact that engine and tell it what to do while others are running. So it's it's a great advancement in model railroading over the old DC system that we had. I have electric switches, or turnouts as we call them, and the control panel is over there. You'll be able to see it later, and so I can control the switches. I have sound controlled by movement, and I have some lighting that I like, and so it's about as real as you can get. And the new decoders in these little engines, they look small, but they have a heck of a lot of computerization in them. and allow these engines to make all kind of sounds that are very realistic. So it's quite a nice system.